the methods we'll use in the Media Lab, because we know the advantage and we see what we gain when you are able to aggregate all this data, and on only one single kind of data. That is what you displayed. But you know that we lost something about the qualities. What does it mean? How can we qualify them? But we are not obliged to go to the point where we have to go to the details of personal data, because there are professional. I'm working on this right now on the question of how people are managing events. Professional who are able to manage events in the city, which people from the police, of course, but also people from the stadium managers or events organizers, how they are able to handle the moods of the crowds, how they are able to qualify it, and what kind of language they use, what kind of traces, what kind of indicators they use. And so what do you think that your technology would be useful when you put the human in the loop, not only by using personal data, but on the other side, how to help people to qualify the moods of the crowds, and which is some kind of a climate, as said Sloterdijk, for instance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. This lady, and then the last one will be yours.
Absolutely, and we can talk more about it later.
No, you can answer the quick question. Go ahead, madam, with your question. No, we will answer.
So you can ask something completely unrelated, and I will try to give a shared answer for both of you.
My questions are closely related to 3 or 4 previous ones. We were talking about real-time feedback in the city and real-time control system, and to give information back to citizens. Do you think that the gap between what we can do and what we really do in the city will become smaller or bigger? I mean, the designers, researchers propose us the use of data collecting, and then it's very beautiful, and we can do lots of things with that. But do you think that this gap with a really real use in the city, and what technological is possible to do, we're gonna diminish or erase? And the second question related to this one is what about media data pollution and garbage? Do you think that in a couple of years that comes, we're gonna have so much data, and it will become a big garbage? And do you think we have, do we have the tools to qualify and treat them to distinguish the good data that we can do something with that and the garbage? Thank you.
The last question will be again to
a different question regarding infrastructure. Basically, we can say the physical infrastructure and as large technical system are structuring cities. So are you thinking in your work to a different shape of cities made possible by a combination of digital city and new technology, and which will free and will make possible to escape the physical, and large technical system, and to re-establish the way people are making a habitat?
I'll probably need to do a jump a bit up to answer all of in a coherent way the question, because there's many aspects in there. And starting a little bit from the last question, I think that what is happening is that sometimes you really change the physical infrastructure, the bits of the city, but changing the bits, and we saw some, if you think about the pavilion or so on, it's a way to have bits and the physical city, the physical infrastructure that changes, that becomes dynamic. But it's still quite a lot of a pain. So I think the most of the impact will come really by this information that changing our behavior, and then we're changing the behavior in the city. So I always get this question that is, in 20 years, how will the city look like? And the city probably will look like the way it looked like thousands of years ago. Think about the city of the Romans were very similar to the city of Haussmann and to the city that is today. because that's to at least in just the space, the way we shape, sculpt the space. But the thing we're doing there are extremely different. The way we're living there. So I think the impact of the digital will first and foremost touch on ourselves. And that's why, going back to the other question, is will this really happen? Well, some of the things have such a strong drive on human behavior that are really happening. The push is there. It's not only like an art installation, but it's the push is very strong. And one of the things I see most is how technology is allowing. One of the things I like most, and probably this is a note to end up, is the liberating factor of technology. And if you think about the computer, if you think about at MIT, we have some of the old computer room from the 50s. And if you go to those rooms, then you have like a big mainframe computer, and all of the space, all of the quality of the space was dictated by the computer. So in the 50s, the mainframe, and then the shape, the air conditioning, the darkness, it's in a basement, everything was a crappy environment, terrible environment to live in, because the machine was dictating so much of that space. And I think about the next logical extension that was then in the 90s, we have the cubicles. All the offices, all the planet went with this idea of cubicles, that everybody had a laptop, had a desktop, and then the desktop was attached to a cable, and you were chained to that place. So you had your little space, and you were chained over there. And that again is a place where, if in the mainframe, the quality of the space was 90% from the technology, 10% for the human. In the cubicle, probably it was 50-50, 50% for the technology, imposing itself, and 50% for the human. And what is really happening, if you extrapolate it, if you look at the fact that today we can actually work anywhere, it's not teleworking, that doesn't work, we know, but it's really the ability to do it everywhere, to be in different places, to be connected. It's what is really giving us for the first time the possibility to have technology almost disappear in the environment. It becomes distributed network, very, very light. And so we can go back to the real quality of the cities that we really like, to the things, to the main elements that shape our humanity and that are related to tactile, tangible, exciting things.
I think it's a nice place to end. Thank you very much, Carlo, and thank you. The team continues Saturday and Sunday in the thing Conrad organized at Sciences, and all the description is there in a little list outside. Great. Thank you very much, Carlo.
Thanks.
It was great fun.